Good morning, fourth grade students, and welcome to Eureka Math. Thank you for doing such a great job at Riley's farm yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I know I had a good time. So let's start with our lesson, the fluency practice. You have a couple of templates on your desk. This one and this one. So just go ahead and flip it over for now. We're going to do a little work on the back of the templates. And we're going to start off with our fluency practice. Let me get my pens. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for waiting. Here we go. My multicolored pens. And let's get started on our lesson. Fluency practice first. Today, so you know, we're going to be using the area model and number line to represent mixed numbers and units of ones, tenths, and hundredths in fraction and in decimal form. So let's get started with this decimal. We know what this is all about, don't we? We're going to convert that into decimal form. So what would that be? Well, we would say it as what? Say that in your mind. And think about how you would write this. You're writing this down too. Go ahead and write it down if you know what to write. There's our ones column, decimal point, tenths column, and then the hundredths column, which is 300ths. We're going to continue with another one. We're going to go with a 5 and a 100. 5 is the numerator, 100 is the denominator. Your job is to turn this into a decimal. So you're going to have a 0 point something, right? Because this is definitely less than 1. So if you wrote down 0.05, you are absolutely correct. We'll continue on with 8 hundredths. And how will this look in decimal form? Think about it and go ahead and write it down. And if you put 0.08, you are absolutely correct. We'll continue on with the next fraction. Time to convert. Convert that fraction into decimal. How are we going to do it? Think about it. It's less than 1. This numerator is definitely smaller than this denominator, so it's going to be 0 point something. That's our ones column. What's going to go in the tenths column? Another 0, right? And then we have a 4 in the hundredths column. We'll continue on with 14 100ths. And think about this decimal. What will it look like? We have a number in the tenths column and in the hundredths column. So it's going to be 0.14, our 14 hundredths. We have a 0, 1, tenths, hundredths. So it's 14 hundredths. And we will move and groove on. Let's go back here to this. We're going to think about this in a different way. It's going to equal 10 hundredths, that's 1/10, remember, plus 4 hundredths. And that's equivalent to that and that, to 14 hundredths, 14 hundredths, and 10 hundredths plus 4 hundredths is 14 hundredths. Ta-da! Let's go reverse now. Kick things into reverse. I'm going to get a new piece of scratch paper. Hopefully you still have room on yours. And if not, pause the tape and go get some more scratch paper. We're going to start off with a decimal, and we're going to convert it into a fraction. Get my little fraction bar over there. What will this look like in fraction form? Well, I know I could say that decimal is 4 hundredths, so this will just be 4 hundredths. Let's try some more. What would 14 hundredths equal? Go ahead and write that down. If you wrote down 14 as the numerator and 100 as the denominator, you are absolutely correct. Here's a tricky one. Well, not really. I think you got the hang of this by now. And that would equal what? Well, it would equal 6 hundredths. Remember, ones, tenths, hundredths. We'll continue on to this one. How would we say that decimal? Say it to yourself in your head. If your head said 16 hundredths, you're absolutely correct. So in decimal form, it must look like this. And we can do kind of an expanded form and do 10 100ths plus 6 100ths. Those are all equivalent. And you know how we usually end this exercise up. We say 100, 100ths. What does that equal? I hope you said 1 whole. That's what it equals. Let's continue on with our problem, our application problem, the problem where we apply. And go ahead and write this down. We're going to do a little table. A, B, C, and D. And these are all rectangles. Rectangle A, rectangle B, rectangle C, not reptile, rectangle D. And we're going to show the perimeters. Remember, the perimeter lives on the outside? So rectangle A has a perimeter of 54 centimeters. Rectangle B has of 69 100ths meter. Rectangle C is at 54 meters. And rectangle D is at 1/10 of a meter. So what we're going to try to do is answer a few questions. And which of these rectangles has the smallest perimeter? Well, think about this. What would be the smallest perimeter? I know there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter, right? 100 centimeters in a meter. So this one's only 54 centimeters. This would be 69 centimeters, right? 69 out of 100. 54 meters is very much bigger than all of those. And then what would 0.8 or 0.8 of a meter be? Well, that'd be 80 centimeters. So the smallest perimeter would have to be this one right here, 54 centimeters. And now think about this one right here in meters, 54 meters. They would like to know, the people at Eureka, how many more meters to a kilometer? Well, let's do a little review. 100 centimeters in a meter, 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So we would have to take the number 1,000 and subtract 54. So it'd be 1,000 minus 54. And this is kind of a review for us. I can't go, some of us still get in the pattern where we go 4 minus 0, 5 minus 0. No, this way, folks. So can I take 4 away from 0? No. Can I take 5 away from 0? No. I'm going to have to borrow. So this is going to become 10. Still can't do anything. So we'll have to decompose some more. And this is going to become a 10. I can do this, but this is still where we start off with. So I need to send 10 over there. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 9 minus nothing is 9. So we're 946 meters away from a kilometer. And which one of these between B and D is greater? Remember, 0.8 of a meter would be 80 centimeters, so definitely D would be greater. Time for a little concept development. We're going to need this template out right here. And the first number we're going to be working with is, hey, that's not the right one. Come back here. Well, I guess we're going to have to do it with this one. I guess it is the right one. It says lesson 6, template 1. All right, first thing we're going to do is going to make a little work on this. Let's go to the second row. We're going to make 10 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? I don't know why the fine people at Eureka did not do that, but they didn't. And the number we're looking at is 1 and 22 100ths. All right? So let's see what this would look like. We know that this is 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10. So this equals 1. So let's color this all in, or shade this all in, to show that we have one hole, right? One hole right over there, one hole here in our area model. So we have one hole. 10/10 equals one hole. Remember our little disc? So how many of 100ths do we have? We have 22. So how many of these should we shade in? If you said 22, you're absolutely right. So let's go 1, 2, 3. There's 10. There's 20, 21, and 22. Let's try another one. Take a look at that. And let's try 1 and 38 100ths, okay? So I know this is the whole one, 10/10. There's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10. Now, how many hundredths do I have? I'm going to have to change this into a hundredths chart. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Look at that. We took a tenth chart and made it into a hundredths chart. So we have one here. Now we have 38 hundredths. So how many should we color in or shade in? Well, if you said 38 out of 100, you're absolutely correct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30, and 8 more to go. There we have 38 hundredths. So 1 whole and 38 hundredths. Let's do one more before we move on to our next problem. And this one will be 1 and 81 hundredths. Well, that's not too difficult. Let's do this one a little differently. No, let's not. Let's stick with the same way. Let's make this all into tens. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have 1 and 81 hundredths, okay? So I got to color in, or shade in, excuse me, number 1. It's going to take care of that 1, right? Represent that 1. Who's representing? Okay, we got it, 9/10, and 10/10 makes 1. Now we have 81 hundredths. I'm not going to go ahead and color in, shade in 81. I'm just going to go like this, like we did. There's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 1. So 1 and 81 hundredths. It's number line time. Here we go. Let's get our number line template. And the first number we're going to concentrate on is this number right here. 1 and, it's a rather familiar number with us. It's 1 and 22 100ths. So, or not 100ths, 22 hundredths. So go ahead and write that number down. 1 and 22 hundredths while I zoom in a tad. Tilt up. There we go. Love it. So we're going to do 1 and 22 hundredths. Well, we know that's number 1 right there, but let's go ahead and number our number line. 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So let's do our 1 first. There, we're going to land right there. Boom! There's our number 1. But now what about this 22 hundredths? What's that all about? Well, these are in tenths, right? 1/10, 2/10. Boo! There's plus 0.2. But I'm not done yet because I have those little 2 hundredths. And it's just going to be dink, like that. So then we're going to add on 0.02. So 1 plus 2/10 plus 2 hundredths equals 1 and 22 hundredths. Let's roll up to our next number line. What number does Eureka want us to do next? Let's find out. They want us to do 3 and 46 100ths. But look, I only have 0, 1, 2, 3. That's not going to work. That's not going to help me out at all. So let's start out with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, Mr. Leggett, your Espanol is muy malo. All right, I don't need that criticism. Let's just do this. Let's start out with the 3, okay? we're going to just shoot out pretending that 0 is way over here, and we're going to go. So we have 3 here. 3 plus something. Well, what do we have? 46 hundredths. Okay, I got to go to 4 tenths. 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths. Boo! So we're going to add on 4 tenths. But I've done the 3. Ding, ding, ding. I've done the 4 tenths. Ding, ding, ding. But now I have to do the 6 hundredths. So I'm going to put a little guy right around there and just go cha-ching. And there's my 0.06 or 6 hundredths. So we have 3 plus 4 tenths plus 6 hundredths. It all looks good to me. Looking good in the neighborhood, Mr. Leggett. Let's go down to our next number line, and we're going to do our next Eureka. This number was specially flown in from Japan by the people at Eureka Math. And it's 2.34. Or not 2.34. 2 and 34 hundredths. Mr. Leggett's gone all decimal on you. All right, so I'm going to do 0, 1, 2, and 3. We can do that because 2 and 34 hundredths is between the numbers 2 and the numbers 3. Let's get started. Shall we, boys and girls? We'll start at the 0, and we're going to go right to the 2. Ka-choo, boo! And we're going to go 2 right here. There's the 2. See it? Now we're going to do 3 tenths. 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths. Ding! So we're going to add on 0.3 or 3 tenths. And now time for the little 4 tenths. Cha-ching! Not 4 tenths, 4 hundredths, excuse me. And there we have it. So we have 2 plus 3 tenths plus 4 hundredths. 2 plus 3 tenths plus 4 hundredths is 2 and 34 hundredths. How about that? You know what? Mr. Leggett's going to mix something up here. Going to go a little crazy. Get a little zany stuff here. Why not? Let's do this number, and it's 3 and 46 hundredths. So we're going to write that like this. 3 in nice green. And we'll do the fraction bar in black. You don't have these colors, so just go ahead and it's more of a visual thing. We're going to do the numerator in orange. 46. Oh, darn it. I'm going to do that little bit. The 10th in orange and the 100th in brown. Okay, then let's do 100 in regular old black. So the first thing we're doing is 3, okay? So I can't start at 0 because this number is between 3 and 4. So we're going to start at 1, then 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to go right away to 3. And I'm using that aquamarine, a turquoise kind of color. And then coming out from 0 and just going, there's my 3. Right? My 1s, 3. Now to do 4 tenths. Remember my tenths I put in orange. So I'm going to go 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths. And boo! There's my 4 tenths. So it's 3 plus 4 tenths. And then finally, what color do we use? We use brown for the hundredths. It's 6 hundredths right there. Plus 0.06, the 6 hundredths. So I have 3 plus 4 tenths plus 6 hundredths, and that'll equal 3 and 46 hundredths. Now you're going to plot this number on yield number line. And the number is 3.70. What? So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, damas, caballeros, I'm giving you the controls. You tell me where 3.7 is. Now. Okay, let's take a look. There's 3. 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. But Mr. Leggett, it says 70. Yeah, it does, but the hundredth space is 0. We can just cross that off if we want to, and it's just 3 and 7 tenths. Isn't that remarkable? Please flip this page over. I'm going to go ahead and use a clean sheet, and we're going to do one more before we get to the old problem shit. And we're going to take a look at a few different things. And let's go ahead and make a chart. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We good? And let's make 8 tenths. That's a great idea, Mr. Leggett. This is going to kind of show what we did on the last problem. So this is going to be 8 tenths. And we'll use orange. These are my high school's color, the Westlake Warriors. Okay, there's 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, and 8 tenths. Do we all agree with me that this is 8 tenths? Yes, we do, Mr. Leggett. Yeah, it's plain as the nose on our face. 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths. But now, watch what happens. This is math magic. We're going to turn this into a hundredths chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But now what do we have? What did we turn this into? Oh my goodness! It looks like it's been turned into what? 80 hundredths. 80 hundredths, 8 tenths. Are they equivalent? If you said no, I don't want to have to do this again. So you should say a yes, okay? Because they are equivalent. 8 tenths is what we started out with when we turned it into a hundredths chart, and we made it 80 hundredths. So they are equivalent, as you can plainly see. Let's just do a few more for kicks. We're not going to make that whole chart thing again, the whole diagram. We're just going to make some numbers, but let's take a look at 8 and write this down with me. 8. No, let's do this one. 2.08 or 2 and 8 hundredths. That would look like in fraction form 2. What's our numerator going to be? It's going to be 8, and our denominator will be 100. So 2 and 8 hundredths. So let's take a look at another number. This is the one I was going to show you originally. 8 ones, 0 tenths, 2 hundredths. What would that look like in fraction and decimal form? Think about it. We have 8 ones, right? How many tenths? 0. How many hundredths? 2. Fraction form? 8 ones and 2 hundredths. No tenths. So there we have it, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros. Time for ye old fun in the sun with the problem set. Let's grab my problem set book if I can find it. Oh, Mr. Leggett, you're so disorganized. Yes, yes, I am. I'm trying to get more organized. Let's see what we got going. Here we go. Found my problem set. Okay, so let's go right to page... Excuse me. Page 19 and 20. Page 19 and 20, 5, 10, 19. We don't read the instructions, read them. We don't have time to read them right now, but read them and then color in. You're going to have to turn one of these into a hundredths chart, this one right here, and you're going to turn this one into a hundredths chart. You know how to label the number line. Let's just flip this over. Please follow along with me. So 1, 1, and 2 hundredths. Okay, that's how we do that one right there. This one is just matching the decimals and the fractions. 7 ones, 13 hundredths. Well, that's 7 and 30 hundredths, 7 and 3 tenths, 7 3/100, 7 13/100. So you're going to go doink. Then you have to find it over here, 7 13/100. All right? Go ahead and finish this problem set on your own. When you're done, put it in the blue bin and log on to Zern. Thank you very much.